What is going on, everybody? Shooby Dooby here, back with another video. Today's video, guys, I'll be doing a tier list for the top 50 most well-known and popular YouTube boxing fights. Obviously, I can't do every single YouTube boxing fight ever, or this video would be 3 hours long. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna rank them today. We have 5 tiers: legendary, great, good, mid, and trash. A couple rules before we start. I'm gonna be ranking these YouTube boxing fights based off of how much they impacted the scene and how entertaining they were to watch. Without further ado, let's get into the video, guys. How fitting. Starting off, we got KSI versus Joe Weller, the first official fight in the scene. I would say KSI versus Joe Weller was a good fight. Joe had his moments. KSI, did his thing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put it in good. Oh, next we got Gibb versus McBroom. The first one, I'm gonna put this fight in legendary. The storyline really does it all for me here. Gibb, underdog going into it, comes back, avenging his loss against the CEO of the company that rigged him on the previous event. Yeah, I just remember watching this fight and being super excited and super amped. So yeah, I'm going to put that in legendary. I'm going to put Dean the Great versus Waleed Sharks in legendary as well. And I'm going to put it in front of Gibb versus McBroom. This event, Misfits 003, was smaller. It was the first event in the US, but man, this fight was insane. Waleed knocks down Dean 3 times, and then Dean just lands a right hand from hell, knocking Waleed down. Waleed gets up, but turns his back to the ref. Like, greatest comeback ever in YouTube boxing. Yeah, Dean versus Waleed has to be a legendary fight, and I cannot wait for the rematch. I know I say it every video. Come on, let's make it happen, Misfits. Let's go. Next, we got Barbie versus Whitney. This fight happened on the Kingpyn quarterfinals last month. Look, I think this might be one of, if not the best women's fight, female fight we've ever seen. These girls were banging, Paul.
What do you mean by that?
Nah, these girls were banging, slanging, throwing hands, got Barbie knocked down Whitney. Look, I think this is a great fight. Compared to a lot of the other female fights in this scene, Whitney versus Barbie is a great fight for me. Another OG, KSI versus Logan Paul 1. It ended in a draw, and rightfully so. I think KSI edged it a little bit, but I can understand how it was a draw. This fight was insane. This is definitely legendary. I gotta put it in front of these two. I have to. It was close, it was competitive, it was entertaining. KSI versus Logan Paul 1 is legendary for sure. Next, we got Deji versus Swarms, and this just happened the other week on Misfits 007, as we all know. Not gonna lie, I thought it would be a little closer. I was wrong. Deji proved me wrong. Yeah, it was really just a one-sided beatdown. I think maybe you could give Swarms the first round, but Deji just outclassed Swarms. Yeah, we're gonna throw it in good for now. Next, we got Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. Really, again, another one-sided beatdown. I mean, Jake had his moments scoring the knockdown. It was a bit of a slip, but officially it is a knockdown. I would put it at the top of good. A lot of these fights have a reoccurring theme, but it's definitely the top of good. I'll put it there. Oh, no, no. Oh, Deji versus Vinny Hacker. I forgot about this fight. I would say was shocking. It was entertaining. Those first couple rounds when Deji still had gas in the tank, they were throwing back and forth. But Vinny Hacker just absorbed it all and then shocked the world. I'll put it in... I'm going to have to put it in good. I'll just throw it here. People are going to be like, how's Deji and Vinny Hacker on the same level as Jake Paul and Tommy Fury? I'm not talking about technicality. Obviously, Jake Paul and Tommy Fury are levels above Vinny Hacker and Deji at the time. This is just based off of entertainment and how it impacted the scene. Just want to make that clear before people in the comments are like, well, this guy's stupid. These are based off of my rules, so I'm just reminding everybody. But yeah, moving on, we have Bryce Hall versus Austin McBroom. Me personally, I found this fight really entertaining. It was just, once again, a one-sided beatdown, but build up and everything, the trash talk, it was entertaining. I'll throw it in good just because of how entertaining and how it impacted the scene. It kind of humbled Bryce a little bit. And then it inflated Austin's ego, which led to everything with Gibb. So, all that being said, I'm going to throw it in good. I'll throw it like right here. I think we all know where this has got to go. Deji versus Fuzi is a legendary fight. It's got to go right here. You got Deji finally getting his first win, proving everybody wrong. Yeah, this was just a legendary fight. It's going to go down in YouTube boxing history. Deji's first win. I still remember True Jordy on the call, on the commentary. Awesome stuff. Legendary fight for both Deji and Fuzi, even though Fuzi lost. He made his comeback after his L against Slim all those years ago and got in fantastic shape. And, it takes a lot of balls to get in there. So, respect to both of these guys. Legendary fight for sure. Deji versus Jake Paul, way back on that Manchester card in 2018. I'm going to put it in great because of how it impacted the scene. The fight was back and forth. It was one of the first YouTube boxing fights ever. Jake Paul beats Deji, and look at him now fighting all of these professional athletes and whatnot and setting up future storylines. Oh, wow. Deji versus Wasabi. I ain't gonna cap, trash. And nothing against the two. Deji just wasn't throwing because he only had 2 weeks with Daly, and he was still getting over his mental block with everything going on, all of his losses before. Yeah, he got in better shape, but he was scared to gas out, so he didn't really throw. Really not that entertaining to watch at all. I think the most exciting part of that fight is when the fan got in the ring and jumped around, and they had to stop it. Varus versus DK Money. Varus, Virus. I don't know how you say it. I'm sorry, man. People on Misfits, they were calling him Virus, but then other people were calling him Varus. I don't know, but this just happened the other day, and this is a great fight. DK Money scoring the early knockdown in round 2. Varus gets up and then just lands a vicious 1-2 and knocks DK Money out cold. It was entertaining. I think fight of the night almost. So yeah, I'm going to put Varus versus DK Money in great. Wings versus Boogie. I think you have to put it in legendary just for it even happening. I never thought I would see this fight. Shout out to Happy Punch. Shout out to Keem, everybody that put it together. Look, you got these two bigger guys that have always been struggling with weight loss. Awesome stuff. Hopefully it starts a positive journey for both of them to lose weight. The fact they even got in there is legendary in itself. Sure, the fight was short, and I think Boogie landed one punch, but it's going to go down in history, man. You got to put it in legendary. But yeah, definitely the bottom of legendary. All these fights were, better. But yeah, we still got to throw it in legendary. Blueface versus Ed Matthews. This was the wild card fight on the Kingpyn quarterfinals. This was a good fight. It was entertaining. It was a little one-sided, reoccurring theme, I know, with this tier. Yeah, this was a good fight. Blueface, it was more of like a brawl, honestly. Ed and Blueface were not really boxing. They were just throwing, but Blueface ended up winning, stopping him with like 1 second left in the fight. Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. Perfect for a wild card fight, and I thought it was a good fight. Ed Matthews versus Simple Simon. It really shouldn't have happened, man. Simple Simon was like 3 times older than Ed Matthews. But I would say it's more entertaining than Deji versus Wasabi, so Simon didn't even really look like he belonged in there. So yeah, I'm going to throw it in trash. Next, we got Elbrook and Danielka from the Kingpyn quarterfinals. This was a mid-fight for me. I just thought Elbrook would have got the job done and stopped her because she has way more experience. The other opponent, Danielka, was taller. Put up a fight. All that being said, though, the fight really wasn't that entertaining to watch for me, in my opinion, so I'm going to throw it in mid. Oh, God. KSI versus Fournier. I don't know how to rank this one, dude. We're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to throw it in this tier. We made its own tier. I don't know there was an elbow. I can't properly rank this. I mean, it was 2 rounds, barely 2 rounds, like a round and a half. KSI was finding success early, putting on the pressure. And then, just the elbow happened. So I can't. I feel weird, like, ranking it. So I'll just give it. We'll give it its own tier there. Next, we got the Redemption in Miami. Gibb versus Holder. It should have been Redemption. Screw Social Gloves for that. Still can't believe they robbed Gibb of his moment, but he got it back in blood against the CEO. Yeah, Gibb just destroyed Holder. Taylor barely threw. I'll throw it in good. I'll just throw Social Gloves all together, like right here. Next, we got Gibb versus McBroom 2, the rematch. I'm going to throw this in mid. Sure, the first couple rounds were competitive back and forth. A lot of feigning, a lot of feeling out. Then the fight just kind of ended due to Austin McBroom's injury. Still haven't seen x-rays or anything. If he was genuinely hurt, then maybe I missed the x-rays or something, or maybe he just gave up. But yeah, I have to throw it in mid because it was just kind of underwhelming for sure. Hasim versus Greg Hardy was a great fight. It was back and forth. Hasim had his moments of success. A lot of knockdowns. Greg was just, dude, respect to Hasim for taking the fight because Greg was like 100 pounds heavier than him. And that dude's a freak athlete, NFL, UFC. I don't know, it was kind of like 50-50 with the size disadvantage and everything. But it was a great fight, great watch. Jake Paul versus Woodley 1, I gotta say, great fight. There was moments where Tyron had success, but at the end of the day, Jake just ended up outboxing Woodley. Next, we got Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. I'll throw this at the top of good. I don't know. It was Jake kind of just outboxed Anderson Silva, which is even crazy to say. Then you have the knockdown in the 8th round to secure it. Yeah, I got to throw that at the top of good for sure. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren shouldn't even happen. It was dog shit of a fight, honestly. It felt like a fever dream, and then that fight, it was just like over super quick and clear mismatch. I don't even know why that fight even happened. He's old, coming off a hip surgery. There was a knockdown, so it was more entertaining than the Deji Wasabi fight. But yeah, it was trash. Jake Paul versus Woodley 2. That knockout is the best knockout ever in YouTube boxing history. That's going to carry this fight because the first 6 rounds were so hard to watch. It was terrible. It was sloppy. But that knockout saves it. So I'll throw it in good somewhere. Next, we got Jake Paul versus Gibb. This was one-sided. Ended in the first round. 3 knockdowns. It was entertaining and it was impactful for the scene. So I'm going to throw it in good somewhere. Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. Damn, this was rough to watch. I don't even know if Nate sparred in camp. Jake just destroyed him. I'm gonna throw it in good. Just one-sided beatdowns. Deji versus Mayweather. Just as expected, man. I know it makes money, but I don't know who's buying them because it's just gonna be the same thing every time. If Floyd's fighting a YouTuber, Floyd is just gonna style on them in the ring, outclass them, and it's going to be boring. So yeah, I'm going to throw that in trash. Jarvis versus Anetti was a good fight because it answered a lot of questions about where Jarvis is. It was entertaining back and forth, but you know, Tom had that septum injury or whatever, and then Jarvis just outworked Tom, ate his best shots and kept coming forward. So it was a good fight. I'll just throw it in here. JMX versus Le'Veon Bell was a mid fight in my opinion. It had its moments, but really wasn't that entertaining. In the moment, it was all right. Looking back on it, it was just mid, in my opinion. Salt Poppy versus Josh Bruckner. You got to throw this in great. I think for how it impacted the scene, Poppy was the underdog. Shorter, chubbier guy versus tall, ripped guy with MMA experience, and Poppy gets it done in the fashion he did. It really shocked the scene. Salt Poppy put the scene on notice. Great impact, and it was really entertaining. So I'm going to throw it in great. My Mate Nate versus King Kenny. Kenny just outclassed Nate. I'm going to throw it in good. It was good for Kenny to finally get over that mental block. It was nice to see that. It was entertaining, but it was short, so I'm going to throw it in good. King Kenny again versus Temper. I would say Temper clearly won the fight. A lot of good exchanges, and it was Kenny's first fight. It was probably the best fight on that card for sure. I'll throw it in good somewhere. Probably right here. Here we go. KSI versus Swarms and Pineda. I know Wasabi pulled out, and I know it was all kind of put together last minute. Swarms getting the call, Pineda getting the call, but just the way Swarms and Pineda acted in the ring and carried themselves, like running away and turning their backs, and then it just was not entertaining to watch. And there was knockdowns and stuff. I'll throw it in mid. Top of mid. Top of mid, for sure. KSI versus Temper. Insane knockout. I'm going to throw it in good. Can't really call it a great fight. It was a great knockout, but it was good. It was a good watch. KSI versus Logan Paul 2, right here. These two could probably be switched. Pro fight, 10-ounce gloves, no headgear. Somebody's getting knocked out. You had the controversy. KSI knocked down Logan Paul. It wasn't called. The old uppercut controversy, 2 points. KSI Logan Paul 2, legendary fight. Logan Paul versus Mayweather, mid. Another exhibition. Tennessee Tresh versus Paigey Keiki was a female fight that just happened on Misfits 007. It was great. If you're not saying it was great, then you're lying. Competitive, back and forth. They both showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit. The tag team matchup. Los Pineda Colados versus Degeneration Ice. Pineda and B-Day versus Ice Poseidon and Anthony Vargas. This is legendary. It's the first tag team match ever. It was entertaining. Sure, it was a little one-sided, but it made history. It's got to go in legendary. Salt Poppy versus Anthony Taylor. It was a good fight, back and forth. Anthony Taylor's style in that fight was a little boring to watch. A lot of hugging, but Poppy couldn't get the job done. Poppy had success early. It was a good fight, but I wouldn't say it was great. I had higher expectations for the fight, but that's all me. Slim versus Ryan Taylor is a great fight. When you say war, that was a war. Both of those guys took some heavy shots, kept coming forward with the whole storyline and everything behind it. Ryan Taylor jumping Slim and all the controversy and all the beef. They fought in the ring, settled it like men, made up afterwards. Swingler versus Nick LMAO is also another great fight. Back and forth, underdog story. I don't know if Jay won that fight, man. It was close, but everybody was counting Nick out. He comes in London, the underdog story. I'm a sucker for a good story arc or a good storyline, and that was a great fight in my opinion. Swingler versus Churdleys. Churdleys shouldn't have been in there. Jay was just levels above him. Just a brutal knockout. I'm going to put it in mid. Temper versus Slim was also a great fight. I'll throw it like right here. Slim gets the call 2 weeks notice. Huge underdog. Comes in and shocks the world. Knocks out Temper. For those first 2 rounds, it was a war. Not a lot of technique going back and forth. Just throwing. I thought it was a great fight. iDubbbz versus Wasabi was a good fight. Wasabi just outboxed iDubbbz, really. Wynderson versus Filipek, I'm going to throw in good too. It was Wynderson's first fight on the YouTube boxing scene, and he showed out. I'm really excited to see how Wynderson and Kenny goes. iDubbbz versus Dr. Mike was a good fight. Definitely a better fight than the Wasabi iDubbbz fight. In my opinion, it was more entertaining. I'll throw it in good. This is my YouTube boxing fights tier list. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with me down below in the comments section and what you guys would change. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, more YouTube boxing content to come. If you guys want to make a tier list of your own, I have it on tiermaker.com right here. Just look up my name, spelled the same as my YouTube channel, Shooby-Dooby. Thanks for all the love. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care.
It rains, panties from heaven. Shooby-Dooby.